Cool. I think we got a lot there. I hope you were taking notes, listeners and viewers here. And let's do a live question or brainstorm session here. I'm going to just point out Eric. Eric, come on down. Tell us a little bit about what you're up to and what is the one thing you'd love some focused support on today?
Hey, folks. My name's Eric, and I am currently putting together an online course and Mighty Network. And it's my first of both of those. I've taught lots before, but I've never actually put all this together. So I guess I'd be most interested in kind of a best practices for, the online course. I know sort of how I want that to look, but maybe, some things that be good to think about as I develop it, which I'm doing right now. And then the Mighty Network. That's a little bit of a, I'm excited to do it, but I'm also just, never done it before. So kind of, and I know you guys that's something you specialize in.
Great.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about what the course is about and who it's for?
And whether it's
sure.
live, and is it live, pre-recorded, a bit of both? Maybe, describe.
Yeah,
what
like what
is.
the knowns, what you already know about the course.
Yeah, sure. The course is for. I'll give you a little background. Over the last couple of years, I have met a lot of Gen Z folks who were having a hard time even dreaming about, they would just ask me, what, how do I even get a dream? It's so hard. I feel so anxious. I can't even dream about a future. And I have been fortunate enough to have a life where I have followed and realized all of my dreams. And I realized that over 40 years, I've learned a lot about that, and that I have a lot to teach kids. I feel like I'm entering my Yoda years. So the goal is to have the course be for anyone really, but it's sort of aimed at Gen Z kids because they were the ones who inspired me to do this. And I feel like I just love everything about what they're doing, the way they're reimagining the world, identity, society, all of it. That just feels like there's so much potential there. I want to have a back and forth with them. The first course I'm going to teach is going to be it's going to be a recorded course. It's not going to be live. But then in the community, I want to do weekly check-ins and then do cohort-based longer courses for smaller groups of people I'd like for it to be inexpensive and available to anyone who wants to do it. But then I'd also like to have a more committed group in the Mighty Network of people who want to support each other and go further with it. I want to introduce the concepts in the first course, which will come with the Mighty Network. Or it might just be available standalone. This is the other thing. I'm looking at combining Mighty Network and ThriveCart. Those are more technical questions. So that's to answer your question, Shale. That's
beautiful. So knowing what I've learned about you over the last little while here, Eric, I know you are a storyteller, which is how you've built your audience. So maybe just share a little bit about how you're known through your audience right now, because I think that context is also important for everybody to understand.
Sure. Yeah, I have a sleep podcast called Listen to Sleep, which is worldwide and has a lot of listeners. So I hear from those people a lot. And I tell bedtime stories, and I guide a meditation every week. So I publish twice weekly with that. And then an extra episode for the people who are on the Patreon. So 3 times weekly. And I am a storyteller, and I'm an actor and set designer by training. And the course I want to develop is basically going to be modeled on the hero's journey. So the whole course is going to be like going through the hero's journey in your own life, turning your own life into a hero's journey, looking for the riches inner and outer that come from that, and then incorporating these pillars of this program that I've put together, which real quickly are mindfulness, yielding, surrender, transformation, embracing change, healing, making room for healing in our lives, because it's just the thing that most people overlook and one of the most important. And then finally, storytelling, learning how to tell our own story, to not just inspire ourselves and see the bigger arc of it for the times that are tough, but being able to inspire others with our story. So I'm going to bring all of that together in this course, and then in this community as well, so that people can work together to support each other's stories. And kind of like what the Creators Club is, just being there to be a new way of seeing and a new way of integrating ideas.
Beautiful. Okay, so I'm glad I asked that, because the first thing, and this is, we produced a course years ago called the Great E-Course Adventure, which was our first experience at merging entertainment with transformation and education. And one of the first exercises we do in that story is called a taking inventory exercise. And so the first thing I would look at is like, what do you have right now? Number one, you're a storyteller. You can write stories. Number two, you have all your experience in production. So you know how to produce high quality media. You know how to produce audio. You know how to facilitate transformation through all these different practices that you've incorporated into your life. And so these are assets that you have at your disposal. You know how to do voice acting. You know how to find the right music to score an experience that brings in emotion for people. So all of these are pieces that you have at your disposal. So having done the whole thing with meditations, audio meditations, and now audio stories, imagination meditations for kids, and music with Majik Kids, audio, hands down, for everybody out there, just like take this in. Audio is the most transformational media that we can produce with. So for this course, what I would imagine is every week you get your bundle. The bundle is a video of you, a short video, up to 5 minutes, of you talking about this week's theme. And it's you, whether it's out on the mountain or in front of the fire, whatever vibe you're wanting to portray in the story as you being the Yoda. And it includes a guided audio. So maybe it's an audio story that they can close their eyes and listen to. And the story is kind of the next chapter. It's the chapter of the week, the theme. And maybe there's a character that they're on the journey with each week. And it's kind of like part story, part visualization. And then they would receive some form of reflection exercises. And each week is kind of this like medicine bundle that you're sending them, that is like the audio, it's the exercises that they do in their life, and a space, a forum for them to journal and share their experiences. Now, I would never, ever suggest anybody that's launching a course for the first time do it as fully evergreen, because the feedback of your audience going through the journey together live as a cohort is going to feed your soul. It's going to give you the feedback you need to refine your course for your second and third and fourth cohort. So if I was you and I was helping to direct and orchestrate this, I would say have the weekly bundles and a weekly call. Let's just say it's you named 5 different kind of pillars for it. It's a 5-week course, a weekly bundle. And at the end of each week, there's a live call where people get to share their story and get to share their breakthroughs, and you're holding space and facilitating those conversations. For you as the facilitator, I mean, evergreen's a beautiful thing and it could be that, but I would suggest for you to have the satisfaction of seeing people experience what you've created. Those weekly calls will be just so beautiful and really start to be the glue that forms a community and a culture inside of your Mighty network because you've got a group of people going through the same journey. So the most important thing when you're building an online course is consistency. Consistency is key. You want to create a regular rhythm so that people understand when things are delivered, how to consume the things. You have to really set people up for success so they can work it into their life. So if you're delivering a weekly medicine bundle, then that means they have, say, 5 days to find their own window of time to do the video, to do the audio and have the experience, and then to do whatever exercise or reality experiment you're offering for them would be. So those would be some like simple starting points as a way to start to dream into what the experience would be. But I think you incorporating storytelling into it, because that's what people have been coming to you for, that makes a smooth transition from what you've been doing to this new thing that applies the myth and the storytelling of where you've been and what you've been doing, but it allows it to come in a new creative way, and it makes it about them and their myth and their story. And so it's interesting that you're going from sleep stories to helping people to awaken their own story in their own life. It's very, very cool.
Cool. Hey, so Bradley, my idea for that, the developing the Evergreen course, is to take this group of people. I've got a couple hundred people who want to work with me in developing it, basically giving me feedback, said that they would be willing to, hop on a Zoom, do the thing. So I'm doing it, developing it basically in public with these people, with this group.
Yeah.
And my idea is to start launching those modules with them, going, okay, guys, here's module 1, doing it for free with this group, then honing it through this process to wind up with an evergreen one that I can have as the basis for when I launch the Mighty Network, so that you get that when you join, and then you jump into the weekly calls. So with this first group of a couple hundred people, I'm basically going to kind of beta it.
Yeah. Great. That's beautiful clarity. And we've done this, one of our partners, the Radiant Sutra School of Meditation, that's what they've done the last couple of courses we've co-produced, is Lauren taught the courses live to the first group, and then they transitioned to Evergreen after that because there was just more energy there for him. Sure. I think my question would be, if you're doing this live with your first group, where does the storytelling come in? Would those be something that you would deliver live? Would you work with your audience to pull out what you need to go and write the story? Or is story going to be a part of this?
Story would be a part of it. And I could, I could do basically my first stab at creating these things and putting them out there to them and then saying, hey, give me feedback. What's missing? What would you like? What didn't this have that you would have liked to have had? Because none of these things are, like for me to do a 5 to 10 minute video it isn't going to take me a ton of time and effort. For me to script out the audio part, record that, make it nice, also won't take too long. So I do feel like this would, those are all great suggestions too. And I feel like this group is really excited about doing that with me. Yeah. So, and I think that it should work to actually just kind of deliver, going, okay, guys, here's what I'm looking at week 1. Let's all, anybody who wants to can hop on a Zoom with me, try it, hop on a Zoom with me 7 days from now, and we'll talk about it. Yeah. We'll talk about what you liked, what you didn't, and sort of let them be the first students and also my feedback.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sheila. I was just going to say, go ahead. Just Eric, I want to just say that what you're up to is so rich and it's so needed. And it's beautiful because it also feels like a perfect use case for Mighty Networks and for something like it, because it's really where it's a platform that allows your content to come alive. and your community to come alive and come together, like Bradley mentioned, around not just community, but culture. It's like this, and I think what I've watched with clients who are building mighty networks is they'll either come to it from, I have all these amazing courses, but they're just sort of in this isolated course platform. There really isn't the ability to pull people into a richer conversation and to continue the connection and the flow. Or they've built this massive online presence, but there's nowhere to go to organize people in a focused way. Sometimes people see their stuff, sometimes they don't, and so it's like, and so one of the clients I'm working with is in that moment where it feels like she has all these tendrils out and she's still not able to just get on and live stream with people, bring people together in a cohesive way. And Mighty Networks is allowing her to do that. And I would just say that maybe there's just as a possibility, maybe not having to wait until having the course to just actually give people that platform to connect with each other, have maybe the coaching calls every couple of weeks or whatever pace feels right to you, and package the stuff you already have, the meditations you have, and have that be the content that you share for now, and letting people know that, you're working on this amazing course that's coming soon. And anyway, that's just that it could be something as easy as that. And I think that what you are already doing on social media could easily translate into a Mighty Networks platform, and you wouldn't have to have the course ready to go necessarily, but just something to think about. But I think it's absolutely, just validating for you that what you're doing it, and not only do young people need this and want the connection, the community, the conversation, it's why TikTok is taking off. It's that people feel like they have you in the moment, having a true conversation, and something is emerging from that. And Mighty Networks is just a better way, I think, to do that in a focused way. So
yeah, I do want it to be more of a back and forth. I was actually on TikTok doing a live right before I joined this, which is why I'm sitting here. This is my TikTok live chat with Santa video setup. But my question about that, Celia, is that the mighty communities that I've joined personally, the ones that were really rich with some content to dive into in the beginning, I felt they're the ones I stuck with. And they're the ones where I felt like I just had a real wow experience right off the bat. And I appreciate your idea about the meditations, but all the meditations I have are also available for free on the podcast. So it would be kind of just like repurposing stuff some people have even heard. And so I want to make sure that when people join the community, because I do want it to be a paid community, because I want people who are committed, and I want it to feel, worthwhile for me as the creator and host. So that's really what and I've heard Gina Bianchini talk about this too. Just start your community. But I've joined a couple communities that didn't really have anything there but the community. And if there aren't, a quorum of active people there doing something, you're like, why am I here? It's like going to a party where there's nobody there. So I guess that would be my question about starting before the course. And one of the reasons I'm thinking that it might be worth doing the course first, so that I can give that wow experience to people right when they start.
Yeah, I wouldn't launch until there's a solid strategy in place around what's offered in there, that there's a core offering in the space. And for us, when we work with a partner to build their Mighty Networks, if let's just say there's 12 different topics inside of the Mighty Network, we wouldn't launch the Mighty Network until each topic has at least 2 pieces of content connected to it. So when people are exploring topics, that there's already a library of content in there, because what you're building is a living library. Right. The beautiful thing about having a Mighty Network is all of a sudden it's your space to foster those relationships and hold people. And it's also your creative space that you get to test out ideas. You get to make things and have an active group that is waiting for that. So I wouldn't open it prematurely because you only get one chance to launch your space. And if people come in when it's premature, not fully baked, they get the taste of like, well, that sucks. I'm not coming back. No matter how many times you market to me that this space is here and it's alive, when it's like more evolved 6 months down the road, I'm not going because my first experience was, well, that sucked. There's nothing happening.
I want it to be awesome.
Yeah, you want it to be awesome, which means you need to like take some space to really dream into what happens in there, like beyond the course. What are the conversations? What is the weekly rhythm inside a life of the community member? What pieces of content? Why come here? What's feeding me on the weekly basis? Because what you're battling with when you create your own community is you're coming up against people's addiction to social media, that they're going on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok 8 times a day for 10 minutes per time of scroll time. What you're trying to do is retrain them to come be filled up over here. Because if people are doing that, they've got a hole that they're trying to fill up. And what you're trying to do is like shift that rhythm and that pattern in their mind and in their daily life. And you're giving them something that's richer than going back over to the endless wall. So having a clear plan of like, how are you holding people inside of your space on a regular basis? So whether it's like a daily post or weekly medicine bundles, just like you would with the course, like these things will be thought out and planned. Like when we're building a mighty network here at Majik, it's usually 6 months to get it launched, from the beginning of a project till when your community finally comes in. And that 6 months includes a 35-day pre-sales launch process. Because it takes time to actually like create the plan, to make the content, or to find the content that you've already created and pull it all together inside of the new space that you're building.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that sounds about right to me, you know, and kind of, and that's my plan as well. So yeah, cool.
Beautiful. Taylor. Do it.
Okay, I was going to say, Neil, go. It's just really quick, and it's really around building out a process for, first of all, actually, you're so cool. So it's
super cool.
A pleasure to meet you. Hearing what you've been doing is amazing, and I love your target market, which makes these folks sound like commodities. But working with this younger generation coming up and sharing your wisdom is so needed and really touching. And I'm very excited about your project. And to hear that you've got this 200 people that are like wanting to beta with you. And so what I wanted to offer is creating a process for that feedback, which it sounds like you're already thinking about. But one of the things that came up as you were speaking is around, so if you have these different lessons or different modules, and then you're going to be riffing with them and getting feedback, one thing that you could do upstream is, you know, whenever I'm thinking about building content, building courses, or building live experiences, is what do I want people to feel? What do I want them to experience? And what outcome do I want them to have on the other side of this? And I hear you that you're doing the hero's journey arc. And so if that's your kind of overarching context for the journey you want to take them on, what happens at each phase? So for each lesson or each story that you're doing, if you can upstream think through what feelings, experiences, and outcomes you want people to have, and then what stories are you going to tell, and or lessons are you going to bring forward through your storytelling, and then you have that in mind as you do your beta. And then as you're receiving feedback, listen to what was it like for them. And so what feelings, experiences, and outcomes did people get that wasn't your intention or were unexpected? Or did what you intended actually hit? So then you're not versus, okay, I'll put it out there and then I'll see what it's like. Then the kind of beta can start to lead you. And what I think you want is you want co-creation. So you want to be responding to what they've been asking for, but you also want to lead them through something specifically. So yeah, that's my thoughts, is have a process for knowing what you want it to do and then checking, did it do that?
That's the idea with this group. Exactly. Is getting together and kind of like doing the check-in that would come kind of with the course, but then also the one afterwards. Okay, what specifically worked, what didn't work, so like treating them as if they're not just taking the course, but they're helping me build it.
Yeah, beautiful.
Which is what they all have signed up for and are excited about anyway.
That is amazing that you've got that. That it's going to be just a total gold mine for refining what your offering is. And I think so. It would, I think it'd be really great to also let them know, well, this was what I was intending with it. How could that have been better? So if you're really clear at the outset, then that's going to help you kind of like have a stake in the ground for them to wrestle with and give feedback versus like, I'll put it out and then we'll just see what happens.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Good advice. Thank you.
Awesome. It sounds like you're already on that track. This is amazing. I can't wait to learn more about where this goes. Well done.
Eric, I was just going to hop in. I think you got a lot of great advice here. And I agree that this is going to be a very cool course. And the content seems very strong that you already have together. My only thought is on top of that, like if you want the wow factor and stuff, it's just to encourage you not to, or to encourage you to make use of thumbnails and banners and maybe partner with, because when I think of stories, I think of book covers and graphics and make it a magical place. Partner with an artist, a local artist or something like that you can like, maybe if there's the same characters in all the images, or if you want them to be the characters, you could just give them the landscapes where this next part of the journey is going to be, and then make it like, make it magical in there, giving them an environment to learn and dream in. I think that might help to give you that wow factor, just to plus it, put it one higher, like.
Yeah, I love that idea. Yeah, great. Thank you.
You bet.
And let's talk about the tech side of things when you get to that stage, because the Mighty Networks Thrivecart integration is kind of a complex beast, but the tools that you'll need your landing page, which will then, when they go to buy, that will go to Thrivecart. When they purchase Thrivecart, you'll connect through Zapier or Zapier. You'll connect Thrivecart to your email list, so ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, MailChimp, whatever you're using. And then that will automatically invite them into your community or into your course inside of Mighty Networks. The integration is not perfect. And I think that's partially by design, because Mighty Networks wants you to obviously use everything that they have. And so there's some specific workarounds that I won't get into, so we don't make anybody's brain fall out of their heads when people unsubscribe from your Mighty Network, et cetera, and getting them onto your email list. So yeah, we can cross that bridge when you get to it if you want.
Yeah. I just, in my reading about it and kind of just looking at the bigger picture of scaling, that, the extra charges from Mighty Network. And also I wasn't so keen on that. And then I like the more owning my customer, and Thrivecart is a pretty amazing platform that I can integrate a lot of other things with. So I get what you're saying. It does seem complicated, and I'm excited that you can help lead me through that.
Sweet. All right. Helpful? Got some stuff?
Yeah, super helpful. Thanks, folks. I appreciate it.
Beautiful. That's the fun part about the magic mind. There's a lot of magic spark there.